Hello all, welcome back to Simply Savvy Life. First of all, sharing personal journeys and observations, just a little hobby. I don't expect y'all to care, but I hope you find it of interest, or if you do, appreciate it. If you don't, scroll on. They took it all down, and now this is just kind of more like a online journal or something, but I appreciate you bearing with me. So just want to share of personal interest that after obtaining my manual commercial CDLA driver's license 6 months ago is been fairly difficult to get a job and break into the industry with no prior job experience, although I have a ton of life experience that is applicable, as well as work ethic, etc. And I have finally, I don't want to speak too much prematurely, but I'm almost there with a job. And it was a very synchronistic kind of thing, the way it all came about. It was just kind of me being in the zone and doing other stuff and having an intuitive call to ask at this certain place where I was doing a delivery about a job. And here I am weeks later, been out there maneuvering trucks and practicing, finishing the process of getting hired. So almost there, really excited about that. So I guess what I really wanted to talk about tonight was just a human encounter. And I did some of these on my last channel too, where not trying to make a spectacle of anybody, appreciating it. I get to the point. One time, a week or two ago, I stopped at a party store that I don't normally stop at, and I encountered a deaf man standing out front. Now, I don't know a whole lot of sign language, but I do know my alphabet. And I worked on a whole theater play called Children of the Lesser God when I was a kid. I was like a tech person for this show, and they cast a lot of actual deaf people in that show. And that's where I learned the very basic sign language that I have. Weeks ago, briefly met him, and we just kind of gestured enough to say hello and hi. And I think he got a clue that I had at least some very basic ability to sign. But for whatever reason this evening, when I ran out for a last minute errand, I went to that store. Now, I wasn't thinking of that guy. It's one of those things, where you just do something you wouldn't normally do and you're not quite sure why until you find out why later on. He recognized me. He spelled out his name, and then I said it out loud with him looking at my mouth, and he nodded, actually spelled out my name, and it was nice, very cool. I got the feeling that he's someone that, maybe not have a whole lot to do, maybe not have a whole lot of friends hanging out at the store. Plus, it was dark and raining out. And so when he came in, and I figured that the store owner probably knows this guy. I mean, they don't mind him being around there, or they would kick him out or something, And so I kind of signaled to the guy, like, do you need a ride? And the store owner obviously could hear me saying that. And this was all, very quickly understood and communicated. And the gentleman wrote down his address on a notepad provided by the store owner. And it was entirely on my way home. I mean, just like 2 blocks down and right on my way home anyways. And it was dark and rainy, and it was just so awesome. I was like, oh my God, this is because, I'm a caregiver, I'm a nurse, I'm a CNA, just really go above and beyond and really care for people, see people as souls, I've picked people up and given them rides many times. I've never been put in jeopardy. It's always been really a positive experience. And going into truck driving has kind of pulled me away from that. Like I love that work, but it's so intensive physically and mentally with so little pay. And because my formal educational certifications are expired, it's like I'm working for McDonald's pay to do insanity. You have no idea. And I have chosen that for many years. Like, even though I graduated with honors and International Honor Society nursing school amid a bunch of difficulty in my life, I was still acing everything. I was invited on a nursing delegation to Africa, all sorts of stuff. And I was never really able to actually apply it, except I did in things that are only supposed to be done by nurses. I have walked in the door on my first day, second day, and been doing as an uncertified CNA and being paid as an uncertified CNA, like a home health. Money is not everything, and I have had very strong ethical considerations about changing fields, but I also have my family to provide for, and trucking is something that I love. Being on the road, I love working hard, I love being, applying myself on the go, seeing different things, doing different things. I'm still providing a service to customers. It's just not as up close and intimate as caregiving, which I really embraced and loved, even though it was such hard work, understaffed, being mandated to stay 16 hours and, running your butt off. Just so much. I loved it, and I prided myself on what a great job I did with that. But I'm getting older, and my body is not going to last doing that forever, and neither is my budget. So hopefully I'll find a way to incorporate it all together. But today I did a bunch of awesome tight backing maneuvers. I went on a road test. I went and did my pre-employment drug screen for my hopeful soon to be job, not only driving semi trucks, but doing mega bulk dump trailers, which, if you know anything about that, it's a lot more involved. And I'm so appreciative of this place. I just went out there doing a delivery one day, and I didn't even know it was a trucking place. I was doing a roadie delivery, trying to make money while I'm still looking for jobs. I get out to in the middle of nowhere to this farm. I see a bunch of semi trucks. So I'm like, "Oh, you guys are trucking? Oh, you hire it?" And since then, coming out, and he's let me tool around on trucks and stuff, because I had a very short CDL class back in October. It's been a while. I passed my road test, my state road test, the first time without any points or hitting cones or extra pull-ups or anything. But they just don't really prepare you properly for a job, especially a job like this, where you're like, these things go have hydraulic lifts that go way up in the air and tip it all up and dump it, and there's there's just a whole lot more entail. So to have an opportunity to do this as a newbie, to get my foot in the door in this industry through this job, which was like an intuitive, fateful thing, so grateful for. Spending hours just tooling around, seeing how tight and straight I could back it into a little spot and stuff, or however many different angles and places and ways that I can do all that, and really getting, because yeah. So I don't know, I guess I did kind of go all over the place, and if you're not interested in this video, you don't have to watch. But if you are, thank you for being here. And the main thing, I do want to come back to the trigger bot thing, because that is a story in and of itself. And but it was so neat. Like, this whole day was so neat. I didn't sleep well. I was anxious. Like, even the little things that have gone wrong have all turned out to be right somehow. You ever had that happen, where sometimes you don't always know the reason something is happening, but then, especially in hindsight, it's happening to your benefit, and you're just like, oh, thank you, that was beautiful. Like being in the zone with the intuition, just being present, tapping into stuff, and just being like master manifester today. I love those days and moments, don't you? When you're just there and it clicks. It was awesome, especially after some other struggles, and when you're coming out of a dark night of a soul, having a day like Master Manifestor Day. Awesome. So I would say I wish that for you, but that's in terms of lack. So I'm going to say you already have it. All you have to do is tap into it, or realize that you are just choosing to have a different experience right now, but you can also choose to stop in and have that other experience anytime. So just celebrating, feeling more alive, and sharing it with you. So pardon me, and I love you all. Take care. Thank you for being here on Simply Savvy Life, where we explore topics with critical objective thinking, open minds, and open loving hearts. Take care, all.